Tiga. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. My name is Aldi Abilawa. I'm a staff at IMAPS FEB UMY. It's a precious chance for me to be your master of ceremony of this special occasion, the guest lecture of operation management with focus on the topic digital marketplace. First of all, let's us reciting our gratefulness to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, who has given us His grace in the form of guidance, happiness, healthy, and mercy, so we can attend and participate in this special event without any obstacle. Salawat and salam upon our Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who had brought us from the path of darkness to the path of light. I also would like to welcome Associate Professor Dr. Haji Mohammad Nabil Almunawar from University Brunei Darussalam as our speaker today. And also, I would like to welcome Mr. Punang Amari Puja, SA, STMIT, and all of the audience on this special event. On today's event, we have several agenda as follows. The first will be the opening. The second will be the main event that will be guided by Mr. Punang Amari Puja, SA, STMIT, as our moderator today. And the last one will be the closing. Well, first, let's begin our event by reciting Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Well, the next agenda will be our main event that will be guided by Mr. Punang Amari Puja, SA, STMIT. Mr. Punang, time is yours.
Thank you, Mas Aldi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi
wabarakatuh. Thank you everyone to be here with us. And this is such a beautiful morning today, and it'll be more beautiful because we would be hearing a presentation from Professor Nabil Almunawar. And I would like to introduce Prof. Nabil. So he is an associate professor at the School of Business and Economics of University Brunei Darussalam. And he has also been a dean of the UBD SPE, the School of Business and Economics in the university. He has been teaching in the area of computer and information systems for 30 years, so quite some time. And his interests include IT and management, e-commerce, health informatics, information security, cloud computing, big data, and the Internet of Things. And Prof. Nabil is very familiar, of course, with Indonesia because he's Indonesian as well. And he has received his first degree, his bachelor's degree from IPB, from the Bogor Agricultural University in 1983, and his master's degree from the University of Western Ontario, and his PhD from the University of New South Wales in Australia. Now, I think Prof. Nabil can further elaborate on your own introduction. Of course, we have been working together for some time until now, including between me, myself, and Professor Nabil, and also our institution between the management program of Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta and Professor Nabil. He has been a guest lecturer also before the pandemic. So we have met him in person, and he has been giving a couple of lectures here in person a couple of years ago. And it's great to be here with you again, Prof. Nabil, and hope to have more enlightenment from you today. Thank you, and I would like to invite Professor Nabil Almunawar. Thank you.
Thank you, Bapak. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. Terima kasih banyak for the invitation. I think Pak Radian Nasul here. Thank you, Pak Radian, for communication. Yes, here in Brunei we are in the semester break. December is also free. So let me start with the slides, so we can talk more focus on the slide.
Yes.
Okay, please let me Okay, allow me to share the slide. Okay, my research area actually nowadays I'm doing on e-commerce, especially digital marketplace, especially the last 3 years. So I'm teaching also. We have also a digital marketplace in undergraduate. Okay, I'm also teaching digital transformation and e-business, a related area, and currently research focus on also still digital marketplace, but now move as a digital marketplace is almost done, and then we are working more focus on digital ecosystems. So still digital ecosystem within a digital marketplace. Although my theory in digital business ecosystem can be applied to digital or not digital digital marketplace or e-commerce in general. Okay, so it would be nice to share with you. All right. Okay, can you see my slide now?
Yes, it's here.
Okay. All right. All right. So if we talk about digital marketplace, we cannot, as mentioned to you, we cannot separate it to e-commerce, right? Because digital marketplace is part of e-commerce. So let's go through this, actually the contents of talk today. So we'll talk about the online business, e-commerce in general, right? And we look at the type of e-commerce, dimensions of e-commerce, right? And when you say e-commerce growth, especially focus on in Southeast Asia, and then we look at how Indonesia actually is more than half e-commerce in Southeast Asia in ASEAN. This is in Indonesia, and Indonesia is very advanced in this case. E-commerce and grow very quick, especially during the COVID-19, and then now it's even more. When the COVID-19 is a little bit relaxed in Indonesia, we look at that. Then we look at some theory before we discuss about digital marketplace. Okay, interesting theory. There are several theories we already discussed, but still because time limit, so we discuss a little focus and briefly about few theories, especially in terms of cost economy and then the market theory. There are other theory like network value network theory. So then we discuss digital marketplace. What is digital marketplace? How it grew so far, and then how to manage this. How to manage. So we just discussed, because we come from management. So we discuss the management, how to manage the digital marketplace, the framework, and this framework is developed from the old framework value chain, but change of it called value network. So there's a value network theory, and then very interesting to look at it, but we cannot discuss in detail because of the time. And then we look at the current popular digital marketplace in general. So in some digital marketplace in Indonesia. Then we'll discuss about the possibilities of public digital marketplace. We have actually the government build actually digital, not build marketplaces everywhere, isn't it? In every province, in every kabupaten, you have pasar. So that actually marketplace. But we have hardly seen this marketplace transform into digital one. Well, people actually going to do other digital marketplace like Tokopedia. Why we not develop this? So we have dual system. The traditional was still built there, but the businessmen there, traders, okay, the people selling in the market have the access to the digital marketplace, and people can access digital markets at the same time, can have the traditional one. So you have a dual modes of that. That has the advantage compared to existing digital marketplace. So why why the government still not moving to that area? Yeah, and then we look at it conclusion there. All right. So in general, okay, online business on now recently people call it digital business, e-commerce, are business activities that utilize computer network, especially the internet, and the internet, although other computer network. you can have it, but the part to the computer network is the internet, and then sub internet like extranet, intranet. In actually UMI, you have intranet, that you have this actually beduk mutu. We discussed a bit of beduk mutu. So that's the digital marketplace, and it's a related technology to produce, distribute, or transact goods and services. So you can have transact goods, you can have services, or mix of this. Now, a common terminology used for online business is e-commerce. So actually, e-commerce discussed first, in late 1990s, when actually World Wide Web introduced in 1990s, early 1990s. Then people use this actually World Wide Web or the web for commerce. Then we have this more popular terminology, e-commerce. But after that, after 2020, about 10 years after that, so you cannot only manage the transaction. Okay, e-commerce is much more on the transaction side, but in fact, more importantly, you have to look at the internal part of the business. So the term e-business there, and then the e-business is more general than e-commerce. It's not only taking care of the transaction, but also the internal or the back-end process. The e-commerce much more on the front end side, and the e-business is a mix of front end and then back end. Although more discussion on the back end because the front end is e-commerce. Or recently we call it more digital business. People seem to skew toward electronic to digital. So we have a lot of digital transformation, digital business. So that's the change of the term. But they refer to the very much the same things. So we limit our discussion today on e-commerce, especially digital markets. As I said before, we cannot discuss digital marketplace. We have to look at the e-commerce as well. So we look at this actually the big figures. So you have a big e-business, and then you have e-commerce, and then you have digital marketplace inside. Okay, we got the dimensions of e-commerce. So the majority of e-commerce transactions are transactions in buying, selling physical goods and services. However, recently, there are many transactions on digital product and services too. So we look at these pictures. So this is just the framework to understand that the positions of e-commerce and then traditional commerce. You have this actually, there are 3 dimensions here. So the vertical dimensions is actually the product types. So you can have this physical product, physical product, you have digital one. So you have a physical and digital, right? And then you have in here actually the agents. Okay, the agent how to deliver this. Actually, you have physical agent or digital agent, and the other side is the process. So this is Y, the X is Z, is physical process, digital process. So this is a process, basically the process of transaction process, selling and buying. And here, how you deliver the product itself, how the product services. If it is all physical, if we have physical product, we have physical agent, that means people transact physically, come to the shop or doing face-to-face transaction. So this is you have to deliver it physically, and then there's also the process of exchange, buying and selling. It's physically done. So you have to visit and do the paying by cash. Everything is actually the traditional one. We go to warung, we go to the traditional market. That's one's actually traditional commerce. So you have to visit the store, you do the finding the item that you need, and then pay physically. So that definitely that's a physical one. Now the other sides, if you do everything, so this is the corner here, the top corner. So you have the other actually side when everything is digital. Currently we have all this digital, right? So the product is digital. For example, you buy textbooks, digital textbooks, so or probably software, apps, and application, right? It's a digital products. Originally, it's digital product, born by digital product actually, software, and then the process of transactions done also digitally. You do transaction, you buy online. For example, you buy apps from iOS or from Android, and then you pay, so everything is online, and then delivery is online. That means you download the apps, and then you can run the apps instantly. Right? Very quick process, right? It's probably less than 1 minute. Say can be done, and then everything is done. Right? So because everything is digital. In the old days, when we buy software, we have to go to the shops. We have to go to the software shop, and then although the software is born as digital product, it has to be stored in a disk, like CD-ROM. Right? Then you buy, you take that CD-ROM, you buy probably paying cash, and although the product is digital, but the delivery is physical, and then process transaction is physical. So it's basically it's sometimes light and the other cubes, right? So they are we cannot say it's e-commerce. We call e-commerce, and the definition is when the process of transactions is digital. So when a process of transaction is digital, okay, it's called e-commerce. So e-commerce can be pure, so everything is digital. And if the process is digital, but the product is physical, okay, this is the majority actually. The product is physical, the majority. And then you need to deliver physically. You need to deliver physically. So the process itself is digital, exchange of the digital, but the product is physical, and then the delivery is physical. There are lots of examples of this. When you do this, actually buying, garment or buying food online, which is during the COVID, the food itself is a physical product, but you buy through, like, say, online, system like Gojek, right? So you do the transaction online, and then the food is physical and delivered physically through the motorcycles. Similarly, it's a service. So we have a buying service like you take Gojek or Grab. So you do the transaction digitally. Since the services are physical, you have to take that Gojek. So the Gojek will come to you and take the Gojek physical, and also the delivery is physical. Similarly, when you do the buying ticket online through Traveloka or Ticket.com, or the transaction is online, done very quick. But the real service done physically. So that's a majority actually. So the majority. Although the tendencies of some product, physical product, can be digitized, or service can be digitized. For example, now we have actually the majority of textbooks now is a digital textbook, e-books, right? So I recently, within these few years, I never buy the physical textbooks. I wrote some textbooks, but I don't have that physical one. I have all the digital one. Because from the beginning, the process is digitized, product is digitized. And then if you buy physical textbook, you have to wait for probably a few days or even a week, right? To ship it. Or you have to go to bookstores, this is a bookstore, and do all the physical things. But nowadays, you can download from the website or from the digital market like Amazon, and the book, if the book is an e-book, then you can have the book immediately. Or even people, we don't need to buy the whole books. You can buy only, you didn't need the whole book. So example, you need only one chapter of it. Instead of buying the whole actually book, you buy only one chapter or two chapters, which is cheaper. Similarly, we look at this actually digitized product tendency move. For example, music or songs. In the old day, we buy the CDs. So if you like only 2 songs, for example, you have to buy the whole album, right? But nowadays, you can buy only 1 song or 2 songs, and then you can just download immediately, because the song is actually can be digitized. And in fact, now the process is digitized, easily be digitized, and then the product becomes digital product, the transaction done digitally, and then delivery download digitally. Think very, very quick, right? Nowadays, right? So that's this understanding of this. All right, so this is just the type of the transition when the exchange change transition modes. Right? Now this is that some people consider this a model. No, this is not model. This is just mode of transactions. Right? So if you look at this, it seems like they have consumer, you have business, and then there's another one, the government. The government is also considered e-government, basically part of e-commerce, but it's done on public service. Right? So you have a consumer, you can have combination of these two from the row and the column. So you have that combination. You can have customer to customer, business to customer, government to consumer, and so on. But this is the basic one. You can have this, consumer, business, consumer, C to B to C. So combination of that. For example, it's digital marketplace. So digital marketplace, basically, you can have, say, people, consumer, right, interact with other people, they sell product mediated by a business, which is the platform. So it's only C to B to C. But this is just a classification. You don't worry too much about this one. Yeah, don't worry too much. All right. So let's look at this much more on this terminology. One too many e-commerce. So this is the old e-commerce. When people develop thinking about e-commerce, this is the e-commerce is. Although actually there are too many e-commerce as well, but we're talking about e-commerce, this type of e-commerce. So in the last decades or 2 decades ago, early 2000s, up to about 10 years, most e-commerce are one too many e-commerce. So it can be sell side or buyer side e-commerce, although many of them are sell side. I mean, a company, a firm selling products online through the website, they got e-commerce, and then people, I mean, the buyers or the consumer visit the website and then do the transaction to buy the product services. So that's e-commerce. Right? So in this case, the firm, okay, when they refer to e-commerce like this, the firm need to invest a large amount of money to develop, operate, and maintain back-end and front-end systems. So they have to have this back-end system, e-commerce, the server, that link to their a company, maybe a business that can be called e-business, linked to that ERP or other system, supply chain management. And then the front end, which is the transaction one, e-commerce part. So since they need to invest a lot of money to have that system, the servers, everything. So only normally, big company can do this. So we can have this like, big company like airline company, airline company. They have this actually like Garuda or maybe Air Asia, the first, Air Asia, the one who the first doing e-commerce from the start, everything online. So they have all the surface, I mean the server, big server, and develop the system, and then the travelers or the customer buying ticket online, buy ticket, everything is online. So you pay online everything. Then the ticket is also in form of this actually soft copies instead of printing, the traditional one. So you can have the everything there. But that one is definitely Air Asia invest a lot of money for that. Small company cannot afford to have that kind of big systems. So that's actually the one too many e-commerce. One too many e-commerce. So there are another one. Although there are other one is many too many is growing popular nowadays. The mode especially is actually there are many sellers and many buyers can interact at the same time in the system instead of just one company. Now you have many companies, or many sellers basically, and then many customers, many sellers, many buyers interact in these systems. So this is the democratization of e-commerce. Sellers and suppliers can participate without significant investment. So in the previous one, one too many, so the company, the firm need to invest the back-end systems. In here we don't not do. They just link the the things, maybe the system, or not necessarily to have a link, their system with this a platform system. They can participate selling products in this, And then there will be many actually buyers linked to that platform here. So this is not a new actually, only recently popular. Only recently popular. Previously, this one is popular. This one's become much more popular nowadays because they can accommodate this, the suppliers, sellers in here. Everybody, not necessarily a big company. It can be small company, a micro business, even individual can participate here. So that's a good application of e-commerce. That's why my interest in this one. These are marketplace. Although this is not, as I told you, this is not an old one. eBay, Amazon, is this using this system. eBay basically they develop the platform, the digital marketplace platform basically, and then let actually the sellers. eBay start with the selling old one. Is the garage sale. Garage sale. You have the garage in the garage, and then you can have some used product, or use something that you don't use anymore. You can sell it. But if you do this, digitally, then actually things become very interesting because there are many people can participate. There are many sellers, many households want to participate to sell products, or individual. Okay, there are many also buyers want to buy something because it's lots of cheaper to buy use something like something that use. They can be still very very good condition instead of buying, for example. Buy a product that costs you 100,000 rupiah, for example. Now through this platform, you can buy only 10,000 rupiah. So much cheaper, because it's used one, but it's still useful. So this is the start actually the platform, the many companies popular. Similarly with Amazon provide this platform. So Amazon actually originally they don't sell books. Actually, books come from it's a used book. Come from the owner of the used book. They don't read the book anymore. They just put probably the book probably just throw the book away. They just put into the warehouse something. Better to sell it maybe only $1, $2 through Amazon. Then there are some people need that book. So through the platform. So they can have this, the interaction. They can have the transactions. That's called also enabler. Yeah, the collection enabler here. Enabler thing that previously you cannot do it. Now with the system you can do it easily. It's not you can only do it, but you can do it easily and conveniently. Okay, so that's many to many e-commerce. So we look at a little bit more progress recently. And e-commerce in general, we look at it actually, most of this actually digital marketplace. You look at it, okay? So we look at this actually during the before COVID here, before COVID. So this is e-commerce. E-commerce here still refer to basically selling and buying online, right? Selling, buying online. So you look at this very small portion of e-commerce here, in 2015. So that's about 6 years ago, 6 years ago. You look at another 4 years here, 2019, before COVID, it's grew quickly there. You look at that, and then during the COVID here, even grew. E-commerce grew during the COVID, grew faster. And it's predicted will be like this. More than double in 2025 in 5 years. So they said the value is big. If you look at the boom e-commerce here, so this is actually the total values there. So this is actually something like this: 2019, $38 billion value in Southeast Asia, and then 2020 is not almost double, within 4 years. No, 4 years, 1 year. In 1 year, in 2019 to 20 is almost double. And in 2005, it goes this 137 billion. So it's a very big here, very big business. If we look at this, and some of the countries that contribute this. So you look at the e-commerce in Indonesia, it's a big. It's basically more than half of the ASEAN e-commerce. So this one is 2020 and 2025, and predicted. So it will be more than double, right? Triple, in fact, right? In 5 years. So the growth is expected to grow, right? And similarly, others, smaller one, right? Vietnam and Thailand. So we are the biggest, So e-commerce has been driving growth in Indonesia. Our current growth is actually contributed by e-commerce a lot, economic growth. Because that's why the government also focus on this, actually grow e-commerce. Interested to focus on that. Because of COVID-19, the Indonesian economy has fallen into the first recession since the ASEAN financial crisis, 1998, in about 10 years, 11 years. So we have recession now. Last year, 2020. And however, Google, Temasek, and Ben expect Indonesia's digital economy to almost triple, 124 billion by 2025. So it will be less than from previous estimate. The previous estimate before the COVID is 133 billion, in fact. Because of that COVID, consider that they change this figure, the change the figure is lower. So instead of 133, they predict 134, but we don't know. We'll see 125. So Indonesian e-commerce ranked the first in South Asia. Usually we have big countries, big country. And then people now start, everyone have actually a smartphone. So we are smartphone. People can, the customers in this can leverage a smartphone because of a smartphone, and then people can participate in e-commerce. Although probably only buying food or the transportation like Gojek and so on. That will come to e-commerce. All right. So now we look at that before and then during e-commerce COVID. E-commerce has already gained significant traction in Asia prior to COVID-19, value at 40 billion in 2019, and expected to be what? 124 billion in 2025. That's a bigger previously. Since 2019, 19% of internet users in Indonesia have made purchase via e-commerce platform, making Indonesia is the country with the highest rate of e-commerce used in Southeast Asia, ASEAN. So interesting, and then e-commerce customer in Indonesia rose to 66% after COVID. So people go to COVID because the COVID we not go, we cannot shop normally. So very have the loss of restriction. So people go online, even buying food now. Google Gojek. People used to take Gojek as a transportation, and then also some people small use the GoFood. But during the COVID, people don't go anywhere, but Google make money from GoFood. People order food. So that's they have this easily change this actually to because the service can be done easily. If you have a platform, you can change, you can expand the business very easily, as compared to a physical platform of the market. So it's a very different. If you have, for example, physical market from pasar, whatever pasar is traditional pasar, let's say you have a physical one. It's very rigid. You cannot expand easily. If the pasar is very popular, then they have a limited place as well. What you can do to expand it is just rehab the building, add some building, but it may take time. Then the pasar is limited to that surface only for that selling and buying good. You cannot have other services. Very difficult. Unlike, for example, digital marketplace, so you can extend the surface easily. All right. Oh, we look at the gross merchandise value, such as the numbers of value, or to the trade. You look at this actually e-commerce, other e-commerce growing, right? And then similarly with this one, so the e-commerce is growing also. So this one is a bit the figures is just everything is e-commerce actually, but this is much more on buying and selling This is actually transportation like Gojek things, the Traveloka there, yeah. And this one is much more, yeah, this is travel, this is transportation and food, and the top one is media. So media is also, we read media through our smartphone nowadays. There is the media used to be printed media like koran. Now people don't read that printed media. Although some people still like the printed media, but the majority now goes online. Okay, now we look at this 5 most visited e-commerce site in Indonesia. We look at this, all this actually, this Tokopedia, Shopee, Bukalapak, Lazada, Blibli, all this digital marketplace. Interesting. The e-commerce in Indonesia is much more on the digital marketplace. So look at that. This is call it the big 5 of the last 5, last few years. So they now Tokopedia moved up now in 2021, become the first. Okay, people are very popular. And used to be Shopee, Shopee for quite, in 2020, and now actually Tokopedia. So this is the 5. Shopee is not originally from Indonesia. So Tokopedia is Indonesian, Bukalapak is Indonesian, Lazada is Singaporean, and Blibli is Indonesia. We look at more briefly later on. Okay. Now, let's hope about the motivation of that, how big it is. Okay. You should look at this as a student. The business is big over there. Okay. You take the advantage of that because it moved to business. A business, especially we have a digital marketplace. It's much more easy compared to 15, 20 years ago. Now let's start a little bit more theory. Yeah. Okay. And this is more interested to the master's of PhD theory. But at the end of it, you can look at this. This is a very simple theory, especially if you learn economics, and you learn economics anyway. A transaction happens if 2 economic actors exchange values. They exchange values, so you have a transaction. The exchange process can be done directly or mediated by a third party or intermediary. So you can have direct transaction or mediated one. Okay. So the transaction cost is the cost incurred in leading to or conducting a transaction. So that's searching cost, negotiation cost, and then related legal costs, other related costs that with the internet, everything, this cost become very cheap compared to the traditional one. The main role of intermediary is to assist economic actors conducting transactions. Although the original e-commerce want to reach this intermediary, we have the company want to reach directly the customer. So you have direct relationship between the company with e-commerce, but there are new move when we have this digital marketplace. So you use the digital marketplace. Okay, in fact, digital marketplace become an enabler. So here's in general, if this cost here, if the transaction cost here, is greater than the transaction cost, the transaction cost directly like this, and then you have transaction cost this one plus this one. If this is greater than, it will become intermediary. This one become intermediary. Simple like that. So sometimes you have this cost plus this cost is cheaper. For example, this is so expensive because there is no this link. Then become enabler. For example, in case of Gojek, in case of Gojek, if you go direct, for example, you think finding the object, so you have to go to the platform, or you have to the what you call it, pangkalan, say, finding them, and then you have to do manually. You have to negotiate everything that it may costly. And we use the Gojek, so you just using your smartphone and then find actually the suitable actually driver you like. Okay, and then everything is transparent. The cost, how much is that, and then who is actually the drivers, and things like that. Okay, because time limit, we go past. Another one, the digital marketplace is called network externality. So this is a quite advanced theory. When you have that, the terminology of network effect come from this one. I'm not going to discuss into detail because of time. Basically, what does it mean? if you have additional, a customer like this, if you have 2 phone like this, so if you have device, the telephone or products, so the value of the product is just is the product itself, but actually when other people buying the same product, then you can actually extend the value, the value of the product increase. So for example, here you more telephone here or more fax machine, for example. So you can connect more. The more people into the network, the more the values of yours. Now, consider your smartphone. Your smartphone is, when you use a smartphone quite some time, say you prefer to lose the new smartphone rather than the old one, because the old one you have a lot of networks today. So more valuable to you actually the old one. So that's basically, I rather like to lose my new smartphone when I use only for 1 day rather than a smartphone that I use it for 1 year, because I have a lot of things there. I may lose a lot of things in my smartphone. So meaning my smartphone now is more valuable to me. Although if I sell it, it was maybe very cheap, but to me it's very useful. Okay, that's basically the network. So the more you have something like this, like smartphone, the more valuable that. So that's the theory. But the theory we were going to use is called indirect network externality. Indirect externality is basically, so if you have 2 things and mediated by the platform, so the 2 is related. The increase of this one will increase the other one. Increase of for example, the numbers of buyers will increase the number of sellers. If you increase the number of sellers, then it will actually influence the numbers of buyers also. Okay, this is not actually apply only for digital. It's also for physical. So although the physical one may be slower, digital will be faster. That's what we call a network effect for digital is very quick. Okay, so here is the 2 market. The 2 market is actually the 2-side market. 2-side market has 2 or more different group, distinct customers. So you have M1, and this is two groups. But this group relate through this platform. So the platform, so they actually this M1, M2 interact through platform or transact through the platform. So platform in this case is intermediate, so that it manages the transaction between M1 and M2. So the theory says that actually if the M1 grow in number, possibly this is the buyer, and number grow, and then the number of sellers also will grow, because I see the opportunity. Oh, lots of buyers here, so other seller will join. Since you have a lot of sellers there, the buyer is also interested. Oh, I have a lot of option to look at the buyer here. So it's not only few. So this is numbers grow as well. So it grow. So it grow. Is a kind of network effect. Okay, the growth of this influenced by this one. So the platform has to manage it in such a way so that they can have this, have this network effect, the growth. So they have this managed through the some simple theory here, but can be not enough for this theory. For example, managing the price actually allocation here. Some actually platform let this as free, and then do all charge on the here. For example, when we get a lot of to market like Google, right? Google basically we got everything free, right? Most of them, email and then Google document, everything we got for free. But Google want to expand these numbers, the users, so that it can actually engage the businessman. Look, I have a lot of users here. It will be useful for you to have advertisement. So the advertisement model. So they are interested because of the big numbers of here. And then they'll keep the big number bigger and bigger and bigger through few more additional surface to keep them there, to keep the growing, because they make money from this, from there. So they don't make money from here, and they make money from there. Although later on, probably they make money from here. For example, some people will subscribe for additional surface. Probably that people become the business one. They have the business actually subscribe the business. All right. So they can also this is if you have more than two, you have multi-sided market, right? So you can have, like for example, we have this the market, big market of Android. Android is multi-site because in here Android, this is the user, the smartphone user, and this one actually the apps producer, the app developer. So this one they have a lot of app. You're interested in app, but here's actually the Android. They have this as a smartphone manufacturer. Unlike actually iOS only two-side market, but smaller. If you look at a bigger three multi-site market like Android, so Android is bigger because they include all this manufacturer here. So any major manufacturer can use Android. So Android becomes a very big, very big actually digital marketplace actually. Yeah, and then Android belong to basically belong to Google. Yeah. Although the Android is not belong to Google, it's open source, but Google control it. All right. Okay. Here is another one to explain it. Digital marketplace operate the two-side market or multi-side multi-side market mechanism. If two-side market, and there are two distinct groups, as I explained before. So this basically, the process that you can have, vertically is a cross-site network effect. So the job is actually how to grow one side, which one is to manage, and then that can grow the others. And how you manage the price allocation, but not only price allocation, there can other services. So if you look at only from the two-sided market theory, they only give you that actually price allocation strategy. But you look at other theory, they give more option for example network. All right. So let's do this. Digital marketplace platform. There are main role of platform in this intermediary in some cases as enabler, just like for example Gojek as enabler, and as intermediary platform match sellers and buyer to have business transactions. There are several platform-based business model. However, in general, revenue model is subscription. So you have subscribe or commission, like Gojek is commission. So when you actually subscribe to download Gojek, you don't need to pay anything. Similarly, for the driver, they don't need to pay anything. But once you do have transaction, so they get that commission from not from from the customer, but from actually the driver. They make commission. So that commission actually the pricing strategies there. Of course, they have other strategies to grow, for example, promotions. And that. The platform main interest is to decrease the volume of transaction between buyers and sellers. The platform will make a great effort to boost both sides and market through cross-site network. Okay. There are what are the benefits of that? Of course, there are many benefits, both from suppliers, sellers, and from consumers of buyers. Here some of them. So supplier, they can join platform anytime with a low fee. Some maybe don't need to pay anything. So you can join easily. And then the join unit to you just go join online. Oh, probably they have some training, everything. So you need to pay. Rather than you have your own server bill. You need to invest a lot of money for that. So just join it, the existing platform, easy. Can market and sell their products or service digitally. So digitally is limited. It can reach anywhere basically. It depends on the scope of the digital marketplace. Have access to large consumer buyers market without time and space barrier. So once they join, you have the access to the very big market over there. I mean the customers. Not limit to the particular place. It can be global. It can be national. For example, if you join eBay, then you can sell globally. If you join, for example, you have house. You have a house. And then you want to rent your house or able to make this join so somebody can use it for fee. So you can join Airbnb, for example. Airbnb is global. So anyone from somewhere, they can actually book your house to use for few days, for example, during vacations. So that's how easy that the marketplace can expand beyond the time and space barrier. So transaction can be done anytime. Also, anyway, it can be managed by platform. You don't need to worry about payment systems. If you have your own actually digital, e-commerce, then you need to think about how payment can be done. Now it's not, the platform will manage for you. So that's a big obstacles of digital e-commerce can be removed because you don't need to worry if payment system done. So delivery services can be arranged by the platform. So also you don't need to worry about how delivery services like Google Food, right? So you don't need to think about how payment is done and then how it is delivered. It's done by Gojek, right? Anyway, that's a simple step. So for the customer, they can join platform with no fee as well. Easily just download the apps and then you can join through smartphone, for example. Complete information about product interface, including assessment of product. Information, everything is there. Yeah, transparent. Some actually assessment from others, actually ratings. Okay, you can choose which one's a good one, right? So you choose that from the other peer review. Have many choice. Digital community option. They have lots of choice to take. Yeah, and then the platform can help you through the decision support system that can help you to make decision. Yeah, transaction can be done anytime, anywhere through smartphones, digital payment system, save time, money, etc. Lots of actually benefits. Right? Now here's actually how platform can be managed, expansions. So if you remember that I'm not going to read this. Okay. If you remember, you learn about value chain, the microportal. Like value chain is actually value configuration, how value is developed, right? But value chain is only for the manufacturing company. So it goes from inbound logistics, goes through this process up to you have this outbound logistics. So this process is a linear process. But here we don't have linear process. There are many other businesses that have linear process. Banking, they don't have linear process. Or hospital, they don't have linear process. Consultant in a linear process. There are other model that you can use, not to post using value chain. Now, other models developed and expanded from value chain, the basic value chain. One of this, we call it value network. This is model value network. Another one, a value shop. Yeah. So this is value network. This is the support activities here. The top one is support activities, still the same. You have from infrastructure, human resource management, technology development, procurement. So you need to take care of this. Yeah. For a small company, maybe they don't need to worry about too much about this. But for this is we're talking about not the firm. This is we're talking about the platform itself, not the market, not the market, but the platform itself. So you need to take care of this. The infrastructure, human resource, technology development, procurement. Right? Now here they have this actually, instead of you have linear process, you have this three main process here: network promotion and contract management. Somebody have to take care of this, expand this one. Surface processing, thinking about surface, how surface can be done, how to expand the surface. Yeah, and then of course how you manage the infrastructure or operate. Right. So this remains update how the management the platform is. Okay. All right. So okay, there are some popular digital marketplace. Okay, I'm not going to talk about it into the detail. So look at the international regional one. We have the Amazon. Of course, the Amazon one start early. eBay is very similar. But you can say iOS. Yeah, the operating system that used by iPhone. Yeah, is a marketplace. You know, in fact the platform like operating system, and then it's become a marketplace. A big marketplace, in fact. And then similarly with Android, see, Android. Of course, Alibaba, Airbnb, Shopee, Lazada. Shopee and Lazada is Shopee is from China. I think Lazada is in Singapore. So Alibaba from China. So this all present in Indonesia. You can have access to this international regional. But we have also growing. I think the growing of this since about 10 years ago. Like Gojek started in about 2010. So it's not very far, just the last 10 years. But you see that Gojek is very big now, isn't it? It become decathlon, in fact. And Traveloka, you can all these unicorns come from this. Much of this actually, Traveloka, Gojek, Bukalapak, Tokopedia, they are all unicorn, and Gojek is in fact decathlon, right? So So Tokopedia, I say that this is a digital marketplace, very popular nowadays. Bukalapak is also growing, and then Gojek, very big, and then Traveloka, for travel, GDID, Blibli, Bineka, Ticket, all this, you know, they are all digital marketplace. You don't see this 10 years ago, and then the numbers of them growing, and then in fact you can create it. In fact, UMI, our university, Nabil University, has this actually beduk mutu. So when I visit actually this university, beautiful university, a couple of years ago with Pak Punang, so we look at this beduk mutu, how it operates. I'm not sure the recent development, but this is very good. In fact, now beduk mutu can be expanded not only to UMY, but it can be to the whole university. You know, you can have the beduk mutu and as coordinator for all the other universities, Muhammad universities. In fact, the whole Muhammadiyah organizations. So it can be expanded easily. So here is a digital marketplace for my understanding at the moment. I'm not sure the current development is only for a local UMY, for the alumni, for students, for academics. You look at that development in 1918 when it is after one year introduced. Okay, the product is 3,144 products. The majority of them are foods. Right? So and then the number of products increased. You know, you see that 478%. This is not possible for traditional business in 2020. So it's not possible to be done in normal business that's growing so fast. So you see that how it can be grow, you know, beyond UMI. I particularly going to be UMI because if you have this, the legal aspect of it. Probably at the moment they have a legal aspect of it only for campus community, but this, you know, definitely helps students to market their products. So let the student doing the entrepreneur practice entrepreneur doing something, selling in online, making money online, especially during Hari Raya. So that's a very good example. Okay. What about public? That will be the last, okay, and the last part of it. So we look at the most, especially in Indonesia and many parts of the world, we have this traditional marketplace. Now, this traditional marketplace is a marketplace, you see, it's a two-side market. But it is traditional, physical. It's owned and operated by local government, Pemda. Some owned by the Pemerintah Pusat. But the majority are owned by Pemda, whether maybe governor and the Pemda tingkat 1 or 2. Most seller are traditional, the traditional marketplace are SMEs. Small people, they're selling MSMEs, Local marketplace support the people in the local economy. This definitely support. They have support economy, local. Most consumer buyers of the local market belong to low middle income groups. Although the numbers of main market is growing, local marketplace survive and still need it. Of course, if they become competition, they have supermarket, mini market like Indomaret and Alfamart. It goes everywhere, which is not good actually. But actually, people still go to the traditional market. You do all this bargaining, thing like that. You have a talk with the people. People still there, especially for all the generations. However, definitely this market is actually under the threat of this, from the mini market, supermarket, and even more threat from current actually digital market like Tokopedia. Now, can you improve improve the physical one? You can also, well, the same one, because of this belong to the government, so you can not completely doing digital transformation, but partly you can have digital marketplace to provide the extended for the MSMEs here to sell their product online, while they keep their own actually kiosks. People want to come, and then you have this online the transaction as well, just like beduk mutu, and then you can actually create an ecosystem how the transportation, actually the transportation done, actually delivery process, because the physical product is delivery process. How to deal with this vegetables of things like fish and things like that. There's a lot of things that we need to think about it, but definitely I think the government has to think about it. That they have to have their own, bring people in, probably some graduate from EMI, and then think about how to grow this. Actually, have to farmer, have to actually, small traders, MSME, to grow the market, because if we have a digital marketplace, the market is not limited to the local one. It could give to the whole province, to the whole, it may get bigger to the whole countries. So have the opportunity to have a grow bigger packet rather than smaller, keep smaller, and then become smaller and smaller because of the competition with supermarkets, mini markets, and also the digital markets. Are you going to let this like this to happening? Kick them out? I don't think so. You need to think about it. As a student, you have to think about it. Okay, when you do that,
excuse me, Prof. Nabil, you have 3 minutes.
Yeah, I'll finish this one. This is the last one. That's good. Okay, in order to develop that, you need to think as an ecosystem. Okay, I'm doing research on this. So not only thinking about the platform, but you need to look at the big pictures of it. Yeah, you cannot just say that, okay, let's do the transformation, the marketplace become physical to traditional. No, we have to look at the big pictures about the market operator, the seller, the supplier, consumer buyer, banks, digital payment operator, delivery agent, internet service providers. We look at it, all this, throw this into digital business ecosystem, see how the transformation can be done. Now, the transformation means you change the business model, transform from the old to the new one. Although the old mechanism, the old market still be there. We don't remove the old market, only extend it so that we have the dual. And they have physical, they have digital. So that's my message there. So that's a conclusion. Pak Punang, 3 minutes, I think it's enough now. Okay, digital marketplace is a part of e-commerce. It operates based on two-sided market mechanisms. That's a theory behind it. Digital marketplace is needed so that small, medium, micro, small, and medium enterprise can participate in e-commerce. If you let without digital marketplace, it's very difficult for them to participate in e-commerce. But we want to help them. So with digital marketplace, you can do that. They don't need to invest a lot of money. Just to join. And then the COVID-19 has driven its development and expansion. So the COVID-19 is really the driver factor that make this expand. And now people know about this. Indonesia digital economy is the biggest in ASEAN. E-commerce has already gained significant traction in Indonesia prior to COVID-19. As 19% internet users in Indonesia have made purchase via e-commerce platform. Traditional marketplace can be transformed into digital marketplace. I just talk about it. They can have two modes, traditional and digital. Unlike, for example, Tokopedia or Bukalapak, they have only online. But if you develop the traditional one, you have the advantage. You have the physical, you have online. Those people who want to see the product, you can look at it physically. If you are used to do it, you can buy online. So you save time. And then the traders, okay, or the small enterprise, they will be happy with access to more bigger market. So the government need to program and the development of public digital marketplace to help SME and the community participate in the country. I think the experience of creating Beduk Mutu will help you to give the advice for the government, right? At least probably Yogyakarta. I think yes, that's all for me. Okay, we can have a discussion for maybe half an hour. I'm not sure how long we can have this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Nabil Almunawar. Alhamdulillah, we have learned a lot from Prof. Nabil. So I think by now, because of the pandemic, at least everyone is used to e-commerce. Everyone has been using Tokopedia, and even before that, you have been using Gojek. One of the most recent developments, I think everyone is aware, is also the merger between Gojek and Tokopedia, and it has gained Indonesia international acclaim because it's the largest merger ever in Indonesia. It would be also interesting to figure out why, for instance, they have done that aside from other opportunities in which they can grow their own side businesses. Okay, and by the way, Prof. Nabil, I tried to the graph you showed on the size of the online market in Indonesia as being the largest. It seems that if we divide it by the number of population in each country, because of course Malaysia and Indonesia has a difference in population, it seems that the number one per capita is actually Malaysia, followed by Indonesia. And the last one, surprisingly, is the Philippines, because I would think that they are more tech savvy and so on, but it seems that the Philippines is lagging. So in that sense, we have seen that there's much opportunity for growth in the digital marketplace in Indonesia as well as in Southeast Asia. Okay, so I think there are lots of things to explore here, because the digital marketplace is something that's really close to our hearts and close to what we have in our day-to-day lives. And for that, I would like to invite the forum for questions to Professor Nabil. And would you please raise your hand if you have questions for Prof. Nabil, and you can also write down in the chat room for those questions. Okay, let's see.
Someone would like to share his final sharing the experience on doing interacting with digital marketplace, experience of that.
Right. Anyone wants to share the experience in using e-commerce, using the digital marketplace? Maybe you have some complaints, or maybe you have observed some things that could be improved. Or if you don't mind, I have a question of my own, Prof. Nabil.
Okay, fine, no problem.
Right. Talking about the Indonesia's go-to experience, we also see, like, for instance, Shopee. Shopee has a different strategy. They would be, of course, they are an e-commerce side, second only to Tokopedia, but then they have, rather than working together with Uber, for instance, but they opened their own delivery services. So on the roads right now in Indonesia, aside from those green Gojek jackets, now we see a lot of the orange jackets, which is Shopee, and they would also be delivering food, delivering products, and especially those that are put online in their sites. So those are two different strategies. Shopee expanding delivery, while GoTo with Gojek and Tokopedia merging together with those two services. So do you have anything to say about those different strategies, Prof. Nabil?
Yeah, probably Shopee is thinking that they have the fund, or they want to expand into the delivery. Yeah, but of course they can only deliver for the products, not for other things. So I think the strategy, they have their own different strategies. But I see the merging one is much more powerful, because you don't need to expend money to invest in that delivery. So I'm not sure the Shopee is delivery purely from Shopee, or they invite runners. Somebody who has that transportation, they can join Shopee. They don't pay Shopee. Shopee don't pay them in tax. As long as you have the motorcycle or kendaraan, then you can join Shopee. Then when there is a delivery, you can deliver. So they make money from the delivery, because the delivery paid by actually the customers, right? So I'm not sure we have to do the research on that. Whether Shopee doing, what we call it, collaborate with individual runners, or Shopee, invest for this motorcycle. If they invest motorcycle, I think they will lose the competition with actually the Tokopedia and Gojek. Now, Gojek has the experience of delivery, right? So Gojek do the delivery, or they have Gojek Busan, for example. They have the experience of delivery, and their fleet is very big, and they have everywhere in Indonesia. Right? So while actually Tokopedia, they don't have this. Tokopedia is a big in terms of doing transaction, buying physical goods, but they don't need to deliver. They need to deliver the good to from the sellers to buyers, right? So so they have some. They think if they join, they actually merge with Gojek. I don't know what kind of merge it is, or just an alliance, right? So anything that the delivery service done by Gojek, which is very powerful, and then it can be easily done. Can be easily done. So when you are gonna buy from Tokopedia, and then immediately Gojek will take over and then deliver to you. It will be much faster. It will be probably cheaper because the Gojek fleet, I mean the driver is not. They can do delivery of this actually product, but they can also take in care of people as well. So they have this switching is very easily, much more flexible. To me, I mean, look at this. The Gojek and Tokopedia will have the advantage of Shopee. And then you look at that the trend now, actually Tokopedia now larger than Shopee. And when these two merge, it will be take more. I think the trend will be more bigger. It is good for Indonesia because both this actually Gojek and Tokopedia is Indonesian, and Shopee is actually not Indonesian.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Prof. Nabil. And maybe Gojek and Tokopedia is also planning to expand to Southeast Asia because that's a logical explanation of why they want to merge it together. Okay,
yeah, Gojek is already present in Singapore and Vietnam. Right? So they explore to present in Philippines also. So Tokopedia can expand this actually to this area as well.
Okay, right. It seems we have a special guest today. We have Pak Agus Jamil together with us, and Pak Agus wants to give his comments, it seems. Welcome, Pak Agus.
Welcome, Pak Agus. Okay, I share with Pak Agus the invitation.
Assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum. Pak Nabil, Prof. Nabil, Pak Unang. Alhamdulillah. Sorry, everybody. This is a reunion with Prof. Nabil. So I was excited to hear this morning.
Sekarang setiap hari ada Zoom, Pak ya?
Yeah. Okay.
Maulid pun pakai Zoom, ceramah pakai Zoom.
Pak Ismail aja. Assalamualaikum dari Brunei. So, this is very interesting. Very interesting. I just want to correct a little bit. Gojek now is not Indonesian entity anymore, actually.
The investors. The
investor mostly is foreigners now. Yeah, the local only less than 10%, I think, something very small. But anyway, I'm going to ask your opinion, Pak Nabil, about the why the government of Indonesia, is not interested. Maybe this is just a hypothetical question to you because you're not in the government of Indonesia. But why not this government doing some of government-owned corporation on the online services like this? So why not Gojek or Shopee or Marketplace, anything like this? Is belong to the government, which is not the profit oriented. So like what I see in Jakarta, for example, the Governor Anies has been successfully conducting the transportation sector on the lower end. What he said as the Jaklingko. the angkot in the lowest level, yeah, is free. It's free. Yeah, you can go everywhere. Yeah, up to the next node with free of charge, gitu. Yeah, before you hop into the bus or hop into the MRT or hopping into the Transjakarta bus. Yeah, why not extend it into the Gojek, into the Gojek like things like that. So I can pick up people from their houses. Yeah, go into the bus station, to MRT station, free, free for the people. But actually, it's paid by the advertisement, by the other stakeholders like that. So it will really help to reduce the traffic in the street, because people will go by Gojek and then by the government jack, for example, or something, yeah, government jack, something like that, from home to the bus station, and then from bus station they ride the bus or MRT or something like that. Yeah, but that's owned by the BUMN, yeah, owned by the government. Why this not happening? I was thinking, why this not happening?
I'm not sure about that. But actually, I wrote a papers on that, and then just to push them, not yet published. Actually, is talking about digital ecosystems, digital business ecosystem. This is how actually government can regulate and collaborate. So the essence is collaboration, which is Governor Anies developed this collaboration with people, right? Then you can expand very quickly. You don't need to think about your own. If you have a lot of heads, then you can quickly move, you see. And then what you need actually to have mutual benefits among others, you see, not to exploit. So actually, I totally remember, I was thinking, why the government develop marketplace, regional marketplace, every corners in the ours is a pasar, right? That's belong to governments. There are few belong to private, but it says the government have this marketplace, treasure marketplace. Why don't you extend it? Not to change it, yeah, just to have a little bit digital transformation. So you can have actually digital marketplace. Then the people don't need actually the small traders, actually the para pedagang. They don't need to pay lots of money, because this is the government has to serve as not business oriented, but it's to help to develop the economy, right? So if they develop it, and then you can definitely compete, because there's become BUMN, it's big BUMN. So at the moment, each of this I'm studying actually PD Pasar Jaya. So how this can be expanded into, because easily you can develop UMI, and you can develop Bedok Mutu. They can have this marketplace easily, you see. So developing that, the technology is not a big obstacle, because the technology is there. You can plug it easily. What you need actually to transform the way of thinking. Now, I think the way of thinking is not there. You need to provoke them, Pak Agus. Yeah, you need to provoke them. Probably from Governor Anies lah. If Governor Anies, he has of this actually the mindset of collaborative mindset. Then this can be done only collaboratively. You see. So, for example, if they collaborate with people who has these motorcycles, right? Now you can have the service, instead of the motorcycle, instead of join the Gojek, you can join this, for example, Jaklingko, and take people from home and then deliver to the closest station. What do you call it? This for Jaklingko, Then from all the old gang inside the small gang, so you have this, and people have a lot of people has the motorcycle, right? So we all need is just to collaborate with them through probably the RTRW and Kelurahan, join this, and it's a powerful plate, you see, powerful plate. It's just another extension, you see. Well, you need actually the smartphone, and then the wheel from the top. Okay, let's do it. Then probably we need to propagate them. But I could set access to probably Governor Anies, then you can give the ideas that this is actually give the income for small people who has this motorcycle in the gang sort of thing. So they can deliver people to go to smallest part that they can link to Jaklingko. So their motorcycle also link to Jaklingko. So only with such of fraud, you see. Well, it's part of this big ecosystems. Yeah, I see. Probably is already in mind. I say probably in mind. I think they see that this is the ecosystem is there. The Jaklingko is an ecosystem. So what you need, this ecosystem can be expanded easily, just like Gojek expand the ecosystem. And then Gojek has this payment system. They use this payment system to expand the ecosystem. Well, the government has that. So probably Nadim will against it because it's there.
Okay. Very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because the businessmen over there, lots of businessmen in the government, they will against these ideas, I think. Yeah.
And one more thing, I think, so government tend to be more bureaucratic. They tend to be working slower. For instance, there's this project from the government to have a marketplace with the SMKs, the products of Sekolah Menengah Kejuruan. And it was an initiative by the government, but it didn't really go through. And then there was a project that we were involved in, actually, the SMK Cyber Zone. Right. After that, we were also involved, but it seems the only way is to have it done by a professional unit. And also it has to have some sort of profit-oriented, you need some margin. If not, then you need to have money from the APBD or APBN, for instance. But the thing that Agus proposed, I think that's very viable, because if it's more focused on one specific program, for instance, to connect the people with the public transportation, I think that's more viable. And the government would not have a problem giving support and funding that. So that's another way of doing it. I think that's...
Yeah, I think that, of course, if you use the existing bureaucracy, it won't work. What they need actually to have the business like BUMN. Also BUMN rugi semua, infrastructures. This is a potential menguntungkan. So what we need actually to have a professional young people, not the old one, young people come that and then give them the opportunity to develop. And then you have KPI, key performance indicator to go. So you have to be managed like a private company, professional. You can have profit oriented, but not to it's a different way of doing, actually just pure like like Gojek. They can sell this the share to overseas. Then at the end of the day, it belongs to the overseas. Now it belongs to us, isn't it? It belongs to Indonesia, and we need to do this to develop our country. The economic based on our own, not based on actually the. At the end of the day, we have the investor from outside. The money come outflow to go outside. Actually, if it is belong to us, it goes circling of the economy's money, and then it will grow. So I don't know why that's actually the ideas. This people up there have to think about this in the futures.
Yes.
The technology definitely is there, but we need is just the will to do it.
Right. Okay, that was a very interesting discussion. Thank you, Agus.
Yeah, Agus. Thank you, Agus. Joined. So I said, worthwhile to send you that actually the.
Okay, and we have a question from Anissa Ayuning Tias. Okay, Anissa, can you state your question?
Thank you for your time. I want to ask about the appearance of Shopee Food. Before Shopee Food appear, we only have Grab Food and
Google Food. GoFood.
The appearance of Shopee Food make a new situation. It is good for competition, or is making the situation more difficult? I want to ask about that.
Okay. For people, it's always good. So you have more options. Say, if you have more competition, you can have better service. So it's a good to have that competition. I think this is a normal strategy from Shopee. They have the platform. They want to expand the surface. I said they want to expand the surface. They want to expand the market. So now instead of that, the customer basically buying from Shopee's. Now you have the more option to buy food. ready food, right? So I mean, keep them stay and then make it bigger. That's a normal strategy. Just like Gojek, you have lots of services. It's normal strategy for GoFood. It's always good for people. And then of course it become the competitors for Gojek and GoFood and GrabFood, eh? And then this means also is good because actually they will now taking care more better service, you see. So it's always have, you know, more people, more business there. It's better, good for people and for them also to have better service. Yeah. I'm not aware that you have this, you know, Shopee food now, eh?
Yeah.
Thank you, Prof.
Yeah. But if you study this, you study from the concept of digital marketplace and the two-side market, and then we can explain it from the theory. In order to grow further, now actually the Tokopedia is growing, right? Ahead of them. They won't say, they're surprised, you see. Now they have to expand their surface, thinking that how to expand the market, okay? Then you bring this actually not only from unready product, yeah, you have to cook it. Now you have to ready to cook, ready to put like food surfaces. They can have actually the surface under the surface. At the same time, I think when they also develop the fleet, orange motorcycle, I mean, then you need to optimize this as well. So they not only deliver actually the normal items, but now you can deliver food. I mean, more business for them. So keep them stay as well. So that can be easily explained from the theory. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Anissa. Are there any questions from the forum? Okay, by the way, Pak Nabil, how's e-commerce in Brunei? And how do you develop it there?
Brunei is now is everything is online now, especially because of the COVID. We have still now because of the in August used to be 1 year nothing, no COVID, but this last August we have COVID and Delta, you know, variant, and then quickly actually spread. You know, used to be only, you know, few tens, 20, now become hundreds. Then more restrictions, more restriction. So people also the e-commerce is growing also because of that. But Brunei's market is very small, so it's very difficult to expand further if you rely on only Brunei market. For example, we might develop Dart. Dart is like Gojek, but you know how many people take Dart? since many people in Brunei has actually cars, okay. Also, that is the fact they have this actually passengers, and then they may need in the future to think about this actually public transportation. Public transportation in Brunei doesn't really work well, isn't it? So, but probably that's okay because currently the network of routes is also expanded, so we don't see much of the traffic. But definitely during the COVID, you know, they are not ready like Wahoo and then Sim Kim Huat or things like that. So they have difficulties to delivery system is not there. But there are some growing of, they call it runner. So individual, you know, who has the cars, everything that offer this to deliver for fee to deliver for $2, $3, something like that from the shop to. That they use this actually the runners. That's why I think that is it the runners like Brunei in thing of Shopee, or Shopee develop their own fleet? Yeah, that's a question that we need to that can be easily answered. So,
any government supported e-commerce in Brunei?
Not really.
Okay.
There are some actually e-commerce supported by I think the BIBD support. They have this actually developed the platform, and since actually some actually government also provide that, you know, some training. There are, but probably government don't really interested to support. It's a big area.
Okay, thank you. It seems that we have run out of time. Wow, that was a wonderful discussion. But for those of you who later on wants to still stay in the channel, please do so. I see Pak Ismoyo and so on. If you still want to stay here, have a chat. So that's fine with us. Okay, Alhamdulillah, we have learned a lot from Prof. Nabil and also from the discussions, from the questions and answers session as well. And now it seems that even though we have known e-commerce for a while, we are users of e-commerce, but it's interesting to see the intricacies of e-commerce. So there's more than meets the eye, it seems. Now, of course, we will keep expanding e-commerce in Indonesia, and it's interesting to see how it comes out in, let's say, 5 years' time or even after the pandemic. Okay, on that note, so thank you everyone for attending our forum. Thank you, Prof. Nabil Almunawar.
You're welcome.
Thank you for our friends.
Maybe sometimes we should going back to Jogja, huh?
Inshallah, inshallah. So we'll have a reunion with you and UMY.
And visit Kauman Pak Agus.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's close our session today, our wonderful session today, by reciting Hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wabillahi taufik wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you. I see you.
Thank you. I haven't seen Pak Ismoyo. So
Pak Ismoyo here.
Yeah, Pak Ismoyo is joining with us also.
Okay. See you. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you. Terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih semua. All the students, thank you very much for your attention. Hope you got that some information and knowledge from this.
Inshallah.
Sorry, can yeah.
Mau foto dulu, Pak. Mungkin kita bisa foto dulu.
Iya.
Halo Pak Kunang, halo teman-teman semua. Mungkin jangan live dulu, kita bisa take a pic dulu. Mungkin teman-teman bisa on cam yang masih hadir. Bisa on cam terlebih dahulu.
Oh iya, oke.
Oke. Apa siap, Pak? Oke.
Oh.
Teman-teman mungkin bisa on cam, kita take a pic dulu ya. Kita foto dulu, mungkin bisa dipakai VB-nya. Oke. Berapa take, Pak? 1 kali cukup? Ya. Pak. Apa? Ayo dipimpin. Ya. 1, 2, 3. Ada lagi. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you everyone. Thank you Prof. Nabil. Thank you Mr. Kunang for your time and your knowledge. Sudah ditutup tadi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.